Hi everyone, it's Ian Marsh here from Street Smart Business School, and I've got a very important person on the line today. Really, this individual represents what I really spend most of my time doing these days, and that's helping other people find a more street smart way to achieve the end goals they're looking for in business and in life. You see, for many years myself, I was doing things that really 95% of individuals do, and thinking that I'm trying to get ahead. And from the age of 20 to 35, I was really working my backside off, trying to put that stake away and achieve that freedom that most people are looking for. And it wasn't until I started to become street smart, until I started to find the right individuals to show me a better way of doing things, that my world started to change. And now, these days, I am doing a very similar thing to what my first mentor did to me. And I'm pleased to say that I'm having a pretty big effect on the individuals that I come into contact with. And one of those individuals is on the call today. And I wanted to get him here to share his story, because it's really indicative of many individuals that I see as I do my travels. And I'm hoping that this conversation may help others that are watching this realise that there are two ways of doing things. There's sort of the street smart way of doing things, and then there's the cheap smart way of doing things. And I just want to show people out there a better way, perhaps, so they can get a better result and live the life they want to have rather than the one that they have to have. So without further ado, I want to introduce, now a friend of mine really, but also an individual that is now a Street Smart Business Advisor, Ross Anderson. How are you going, Ross?
Hello, Ian.
Mate, look, thank you for joining me on this call. I do appreciate you sharing your time with us. And as you heard in the introduction, the goal of this conversation is really to help people become aware of how you can sort of trap yourself in a certain reality in life without realising it, thinking, well, that's just the way life is. And so hopefully within, I don't know how long this conversation will go for, but within a very short period of time, maybe the two of us can help our viewers realise that they can shatter that reality and create a whole new one for themselves if they just have the courage to do it and the determination. So mate, look, what I'd love to do, the thing that I'd want to accomplish from this conversation is I want to let people know about you, and I also want to let people hear a little bit about your background and what you've actually done, and also where you were compared to where you are in life now. And it's only been a very, very short period of time. And so, you guys, look, I do want you to stay till the end of this interview, because some of the insights that I think we're going to get could have a very, very big impact on how you're approaching things that you're doing in your life. So again, Ross, firstly, what I'd love to do is say congratulations. I mean, I knew that you were going to be very successful in this world, but I didn't know how successful until I really saw you in action. And now what we're going to do is firstly, I guess, talk about you in the beginning of your life and what you were up to as a background, because you actually come from New Zealand originally, correct?
Yes, I'm a Kiwi. I moved over here in 2000, just after the Olympics, but I left school, went to the equivalent of year 10 here in Australia, and then got in a tool making apprenticeship, and then completed that, and I got involved with the kiwifruit industry, and I grew kiwifruit for 15 years and had my own orchard, and then moved on from there to had a engineering manufacturing business, ran that successfully for 6 years, and then I had an opportunity to move across to Australia. I started contracting.
To Australia, Ross, what I'd love to hear, okay, is about this engineering business that you had. Now, Tell me, and I take my hat off to you. Look, I used to be a tradesman. I cared too much about Australia to retain my contractor's license as a tradesman, so I handed it back. But because I became street smart as well. But I have to take my hat off to the engineers of this world. Any engineers that are watching, I tell you what, you're worth your weight in gold, and you are underappreciated. Now, Ross, tell me about your engineering firm. How many staff did you have there in that company that you built?
So I had 6 staff, and we had I had a contract where I manufactured low-cost push-button switches. So that was everything prior to your electronic ones. So that goes in low-cost dishwashers and fans and things like that. So that was like bread and butter. And then we were tool making on top of that, doing very precision engineering. So that was running very successfully.
Don't understand engineering, Ross. Tell them the ramifications of you doing an engineering job with your fabrication and your lathe. If you're a couple of mil out, what could be the ramifications in your organisation from something going wrong?
If you made a mistake on, like Ian said, machining a shaft, basically you've done your money because the profit margins weren't in there. I had a profitable business that was running at 38%, which was everybody else told me was extremely good, but from my side of the view of the fence, it didn't look very good at all because it was low profit. So by the time you'd purchased the material, spent the labour to make the shaft, and if you made an error on it, you've done your money. So it was very high stress type of work.
15 great jobs, and you do one small error on something, and there goes all the profit from the last 2 or 3 months. Would that be right? A lot of responsibility.
Profit.
Yeah.
Just so one of the other things.
What sort of money were you turning over in the company, Ross, when you built it up?
I was turning over 1.2 mil.
Okay. Well,
per year.
And that's not a bad effort. You know, only 7.5% of businesses ever get to more than $1 million. Okay, so ever get to $1 million, I should say. Okay, so you break that stat. Well done. Now, so out of that 1.2, that may sound like a fair whack of dough to a lot of people. You got 6 staff there. How many hours a week were you working? What, a typical day for you?
I was working 16 hours a day, and it was 5 days a week.
16 hours a day.
I did manage my week, and so if you can imagine, I had to do 8 hours on the tools, and then the balance was on the on management. So if I didn't, so I had to balance out like that. Some days you'd spend 6 hours on management, and you had to make up the hours on the tools somewhere around it. So it was a high stress, long hours. And
very dangerous too, with lathes, etc. So
yes, there's a lot of risk.
So I'm thinking if you're putting in those sorts of hours, so if that's 16-hour days, man, my maths really sinks. But let's just say 16 by 5. What's that? 30. That's like a 70-odd hour week, is it? How many hours a week would that be?
Yes,
70 hours. So I'm hoping you're making a couple of $100K at least for your efforts, were you? What sort of money were you making?
I was making just on $100K for myself.
Oh, thank you. As I said, to all the engineers out there, we salute you because you really are unappreciated. So, okay, so you had that business. Now, you decided to come to Australia and see what the lucky country had to offer. And so you got into actually where I met you. Let's just fast forward a little bit. Is you actually had a consulting business over here, didn't you?
Yes. I was approached by... and how that eventuated was that I was approached by government to support local businesses in the region up here. Just so geographically, I'm based in Maribor, Queensland, which is 3 hours north of Brisbane, just so people can understand just where that is. I that's how I became a business consultant, and I was looking after the region the size of Tasmania, just so people can understand just how big a geographical region was. So,
so that meant you did a lot of travel.
So I was doing a lot of travel with this, and what happened was that because we're dealing with rural clients, and we got caught up in the 2013 flood and the ensuing drought after that and before it, I became very focused on looking after the people in the businesses in the rural region, and took my focus off my own business. So I basically was at the mercy of one client, and I hadn't put any marketing systems in place, so I had no lead generation, and I wasn't doing any advertising while I was focused with looking after the real people in the rural Queensland.
So with your consulting, you were telling me the rewards that you were getting, and I was genuinely shocked because, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're at the top of your game when it comes to things like energy consulting and reducing energy costs and giving the right guidance to organisations. Man, you're pretty well in the top 5 or 10% of Australia, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would be there.
And that's why the government,
and helping.
Hey, Ross, I've got a problem. Please help me. And you, naturally, being a giving person, you help them. Is that right?
Yes.
And then tell the audience what happened when you put all this effort in, created this amazing solution for this, and we won't mention the organisation itself, but can you just tell the audience what actually happened to you?
So what happened to me was that I designed a whole new business structure for this organisation to keep them going forward, put all the systems and processes in place that they needed to do. We launched the new service to the local region, and they took me out to lunch afterwards, and then terminated my contract.
Did they pay for lunch, Ross?
In a meeting after. Yes, they paid for lunch. I got lunch out of them.
You've got to look on the bright side.
So that left me in a unique situation because I only had one client, and I needed to very quickly turn my business around and pick up new clients. And that's why I ended up coming on board with Ian with Street Smart to systemize and systemize and process my business so I could rebuild it.
So, and just on that, just let me dig deeper on this part, Ross. Now, because I do remember I saw you looking a little bit, if you say, stressed when you came to one of our business mastery classes. And that's when I probed a little bit and found out what was going on, and offered to help you by teaching you how to do what I do, if you like, and what our Street Smart business advisors do. Now, when I actually put that to you, can you just share, honestly, this is just an open, honest conversation that we're having. What do you think were the biggest concerns or initial thoughts that went through your mind when I started to, when I actually made you the invitation to come on board as an advisor?
The initial concern was that I had a concern about the cost. My other concern was, would it work? Because I had to make it. Because if I do this, I'm 110% committed to it to make it work. So I need to know that it is a system that is successful. I was in a position, concerned about all my financial situation and about pressure that I had on me.
Yeah, I get that.
My family.
Yeah, so from there, I mean, and they're perfectly natural concerns. I had them as well, because, the bottom line is for you to succeed in something, you've got to be able to make a decision and you've got to be 100% committed to it. Now, a lot of individuals may think that they want success, but I'm just being very, very honest with all of you listening here. Here's how success happens. You see, individuals are in a certain place in life, and even though it may not be where they want to be, it's just a simple fact that people will do more to avoid losing what they have than risk to get something that they don't have. And, sadly, that's why a lot of ladies stay in relationships that really they shouldn't be. And that's why a lot of individuals stay in jobs that they know they can achieve so much more, but they're very unfulfilling, and they stay in the jobs. And really, until the pain gets so great that you cannot take it anymore, a lot of individuals stay in that sort of comfort zone. Now, do you relate to any of that at all, Ross? Is that sort of where you were as well? So the pain just got to that point where you just knew you had to do something?
Yes, I knew I had to do something, but I was also I was prepared to do what was necessary to make the changes.
Mm.
And that caused a bit of angst in my private life with my family as well, because it's saying, "Hey, trust me with this; it's going to work," and not seeing anything initially, because if you can understand this, to restart the business and start a marketing campaign and all that does take a little bit of momentum to get a momentum going. So there's just keep saying to the family, trust me, this will work.
Yeah.
And it's like a broken record there for initially.
Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, just disclosure, and this is so important. And the reason I'm going to make a point on this is because so many individuals I see with massive potential that can achieve so much inadvertently talked out of their idea. Now, whether it's consulting, whether it's something else that you want to do, that you have a dream, you've got family and friends and aunts and uncles and all these people that are happy to give you their advice. And yet when you have a look at the individuals giving you the advice, many times they're probably even less successful than you are, if you like. So I need you to consider, why would you be taking advice from someone that's either on the same sort of level as you or lower, instead of taking advice from someone that might be, and I'm talking from a financial and business perspective here, someone that's probably 5 times at least more successful, a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, someone that's done it before. Now, I'm sure if it's not you, then you know someone that had an idea and they got, they at the last minute, they just decided not to take action, and the consequences can be massive. And again, Ross, you had that conversation with people very close to you, and so it was pretty hard to actually make that choice, wasn't it, mate?
Yes, it was. And no, because it was a challenge to get. I made the decision myself. I could see what Ian was telling me, and I could see how it could. I believed in what Ian was teaching, and I knew it would work because I'd seen it with his other students and how successful they were, what successes they were getting. It was conveying that to other people around me that it's successful and just got to trust in me. The other thing that was, because I had them saying to me, look, why don't you go and get a job? And it's just off broke.
It is, isn't it? Yeah,
the challenge around that, and this I will relate to people similar to my age, is that nobody wants to employ anyone over the age of 50. Yeah. So there's a challenge around that, especially with me. I'm unfortunately approaching getting towards 60 side of things on the 50 scale, which doesn't.
You look younger than me, and I've got to tell you, it makes the hell out of me, Ross. But anyway, now, look, I do congratulate you again on your commitment, because many people, especially when the people they love are against what you want to do, a lot of people actually give in to the protestations, if you like, of other individuals, and you didn't. You held true. Now I made you 3 core promises, Ross, when I saw your situation. I said, look, if I accept you into the advisor training, I promise that you will know how to be able to generate leads for your business. I promise you that you will learn the most powerful sales process probably known to man. And I promise you that you're going to have a structured method to be able to help clients really achieve great improvements in their company. Do you remember making those promises to you?
Yes. And that has come true.
Did I keep my promises, Ross? How would you say?
Yes, Ian's kept his promise. My business has grown 300% in 6 months. So it's had a huge impact on mine, and that also, with what I've learned, I've had a similar impacts with my clients.
Well, I just want to talk about that second, Ross. But are you saying, so your income has increased over 300% since we started? Is that right?
Yes.
Wow, fantastic. How long did it take you to get your first clients, Ross?
My first clients, I got them within 30 days.
30 days. And are you doing a lot of, I'm curious, because you were traveling days away from home, missing family, etc., etc. Are you doing a lot of travel with these clients you've got?
No. So now, because it's systemized and we can use, like we are now with Zoom, I don't do anywhere near the traveling that I was doing. So I'm spending much more time at home, which is I appreciate.
Yeah, well, now look, I just want to touch on the situation of you being able to get results for other people. Now, again, I just want to dig first there. Look, ladies and gentlemen, in any company, understand the number 1 skill for an organisation is sales and marketing. Without A, people knowing you exist, and B, you having the ability to convert them into clients, there's no money to do anything else. Having said that, once you've got those clients, though, you need to have those other areas of your organisation working well as well, your administration, your accountability, your customer relations, your delivery, all those sorts of things. But it all starts with sales and marketing, ladies and gentlemen. And so in relation to the lead generation, Ross, tell me how you feel now in the ability, if you need to generate leads, how do you feel from a confidence level, and more than confidence, if you need to generate leads next week, do you have the ability to do that?
Yes, we have the ability to do that now and do it quickly.
Have you ever seen any lead generation systems? Have you ever seen any lead generation systems structured and as effective as the ones that I taught you? And again, this is just, I just want your honest thoughts on this. I'm jumping without a net, but tell me your thoughts on the lead generation way that I taught you how to get leads.
No, I haven't come across anyone else out there that's showing me the lead generation techniques and tools like Ian's got.
So now you've now, man, you're absolutely pumping. Your income's increased. You're doing well, but you get your lead. You now need to get them to become a client. So give the audience, I guess, and I don't know the answer to this. I'm keen to hear it myself. So when you've got those leads, can you let the viewers know the conversion rate that you're getting when you're going to see your qualified clients or qualified prospects, I should say? You getting
my qualified prospects? I'm getting a 70% conversion rate.
Well, that's huge. And that's what many of my other advisors are achieving as well. Some even more, and that's fantastic. But here's the big one. And look, this is from the bottom of my heart. There's no way that I would take money off a client if I did not believe that I could help them achieve results. So, Ross, you've got your clients now. Your income and your finances are getting stronger and stronger every day. But tell me, how are your clients faring? These individuals that are paying you money for your assistance, tell me how they're traveling in their companies.
I've had one client that's had 150% growth with their business, and that's been a massive.
In 6 months, is that just 6 months? Is it?
In that 6 month period.
Wow.
I've ended up redesigned his. It's a manufacturing business, and I reset him up so that he's now got an assembly production line, and he's not actually fabricating parts. No. So it makes it a seamless flow, and he's been able, and that's the way he can manage that growth.
Wow.
So he's over the moon with that. Another client we had just very quickly, and within 60 days, we had done a lead generation system, and he'd got 4,000 contacts. So he's on a.
You're a good student, Ross. And look, again, these are just systems. And don't take this the wrong way, Ross, but Ross did not have a vision of light come down and bless him while he was asleep one evening, with God giving him untold gifts so he can achieve this. It's simply that Ross now knows things that he didn't know before, and Ross is now doing things that he wasn't doing before. And so Ross is now getting better results than he was getting before. It's really as simple as that. Wouldn't you agree, Ross?
Yes, it is. It's learning what to do, and then taking the action steps and putting everything in place. And probably the big key for me has been the support that Street Smart provides. So that we have our hand held all the way along the journey, and Ian's pretty good at caning us if we're slacking. So he keeps us on track, and keeps us progressing forward. So thank you.
Mate, look, again, I just know what life can be like for so many people, and what life is like for so many people. And so when I just start to get a glimpse that there's that self-doubt perhaps in individuals, and that there's a bit of a brick wall that's got to get knocked down, I'll tell you, if I take you into my environment, I'm going to be getting on the phone, I'm going to be holding you accountable to your own success, okay? Now, only you can make yourself successful, but I really hold your feet to the fire, because I want you to have the best life that you deserve to have. Now, I don't know, mate, look, in a nutshell, I really do appreciate the time that you've shared. I'm over the moon. This is fantastic for sharing this knowledge. Could you just let some individuals out there know, are you the only individual that you've seen in our environment that has achieved these sorts of results, or have you seen other advisors that are achieving amazing changes and achieving their freedom as well?
I'm only one of many. I've seen other business advisors that have joined in and are having great success, and I've also seen other businesses that have joined the Business Mastery, and they're having huge impacts in their individual business or industries.
Well, mate, look,
can't recommend Ian.
It means a lot to me. It really does. So again, guys, look, if you are not satisfied with the results that you're getting, chances are there's a better way, a more street smart way of approaching it. And if you are serious about having better results from the efforts that you're putting in, and fast tracking the, if you like, going from frustration to freedom, well, I can assure you that I do care. Our environment cares, and we would love to see if there's any way that we can assist you to achieve what you want to achieve.